Okay, today we are going to study what are the different pricing strategies of a firm when it is operating under perfect competition. In case of imperfect competition. In case of perfect competition, we studied that a perfectly competitive firm is always a price taker. It cannot set its own price. Whatever the price is there in the market, it has to accept it because each firm in perfect competition is having a very small share of the total market. Okay, so it cannot influence the market price, rather it can sell as much as at the going market price. So perfectly competitive firms, they are not having any pricing strategy. They are the price takers. They don't have any pricing strategy. So which firms are going to have the pricing strategies? So we find in imperfect competition there are different pricing strategies. So we are going to study them today. So the first thing, the pricing strategy we are going to form. The first is the price setting. Okay, or price making. So every firm in the perfect competition, that is price setter firm. Why it is price setter? Because it faces a downward sloping market demand curve. So where it is going to set the price? Along the demand curve. This is the demand curve of imperfectly competitive market, where demand is downward sloping, and this is marginal revenue and this is the marginal cost. So where it is going to set the price? Along the demand curve, which is equal to average revenue. So any price setting firm or price maker firm will set the price along the demand curve, okay, which is downward sloping. It produces the level of output where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, or any objective of the firm. In our previous lesson, we studied the different objectives of the firm. When it is total sales revenue maximizer or sales maximizer, whatever the objective it is going to set, so it is going to set the price according to those objectives. So any firm in case of imperfect competition, that is basically a price setter firm. In order to sell extra units, it has to decrease the price, because this firm cannot set both price and the quantity produced. In order to sell an extra unit, what it has to do? It has to decrease the price, because demand curve is downward sloping for these types of imperfectly competitive firms. Okay. Now the other pricing policy is that we studied in detail, that is price discrimination. Usually, price discrimination policy of the firm, in case of imperfectly competitive firm, either it is oligopolistic firm or we are going to find a monopolist in the market. So usually monopolist is going to have price discrimination. We studied in detail there are 3 degrees of price discrimination. One is called first degree price discrimination, in which the monopolist is setting the price according to the consumer's affordability. From a high income person, from a high income customer, he is setting a higher price, and for a lower income, he is going to set a lower price. So it has the benefit to the lower income people that they have to pay less price than the rich people. So price discrimination is not always harmful to the buyers, but it has the benefits to the lower income people when the producer is having the price discrimination on the basis of income of the consumers. This is first degree. What is the second degree price discrimination? We studied in detail. That is, according to the quantity purchased, the seller is going to set the price. Okay? If buyer is buying more quantity, the seller will reduce the price. So it is based upon the quantity purchased by the buyer or the consumer So a person who is buying less number of units of a good, he has to pay more price, and when he increases the quantity demanded, the seller will decrease the price. So again, it is not only having harmful effects to the buyers, but it has beneficial effects to those buyers who are buying in large quantities, in bulk buying. For example, if we are buying these stool chairs, for a single chair they are having a high price. But when a stool is buying in bulk, so the manufacturer or the producer of these chairs will decrease the price for the more quantity purchase. In other words, you can say the trade discount will also be given to the buyers when they are buying more quantity. Okay, and cash discounts can also be enjoyed by the buyers when they are making the prompt payment. At the spot they are making the payment, a further discount can be given to those buyers. So this is the second degree price discrimination. What is the third degree price discrimination? Peak time and off peak time. During the peak time, the pricing policy of the seller will be very high. Like if a regular traveler by a certain airline, he is booking a ticket to go abroad 1 week before the time of the departure of that flight. So the airline company will charge a higher price because now it is a peak time. This is less time, less over, in order to have this seat booked. But when a person is booking the seat or ticket 3 months earlier before its intention to travel, so what happens in that case of peak time, the seller will reduce the price for that traveler. Okay, so during the peak time the prices will be higher. This is also a discrimination, but it is again benefiting those buyers who are having booking or they are buying some time earlier during the off-peak time. Clear? So there was one question in the final exam. Discuss whether price discrimination by the seller is always harmful to the buyers. So we can say it is not always harmful. In all the 3 cases of price discrimination, it can benefit the buyers as well. Clear? So price discrimination is also adopted by the sellers who are going to control the market. They are controlling the prices during different situations. Okay. Now the third pricing policy is price rigidity. What is price rigidity? When any oligopolistic firm, it is facing king to demand curve. What is the king to demand curve? Its upper part is elastic, whereas its lower part is inelastic. So the firms are having rigid pricing policy. Okay? If firm is going to increase the price, it will decrease the total revenue because upper part is elastic, and if it decreases the price, its lower part of the demand curve is inelastic, again total revenue will decrease. So these firms, those who are facing king to demand curve, what type of demand it is? King demand. Okay, so in that case they are having price rigidity policy and they are having non-price competition. They are not moving into price war, but they will have competition on the basis of advertisement, brand loyalty, brand proliferation, market segmentation. So this is price rigidity, a case of price rigidity pricing policy of the firms when they are facing a king to demand curve in the market. Followed my point or not? So we have this model of oligopoly when they are going to have king to demand curve, so their pricing policy will be price rigidity. Now the firms will be competing on the basis of non-price competition, not on the basis of prices. So this is price rigidity policy of the firms. Now another thing which is called price leadership. Price leadership model. You know, we studied cartel or formal collusion of the firms. What is formal collusions? When the member firms they join with each other and they have single price for all the members. They have set a quota for each member in that cartel. So cartel will behave like a monopolist. They are having a single price for all the member countries. But sometimes we have informal collusion, because formal collusion or cartelization, that is illegal in most of the countries' laws. According to the country law or constitution of the countries, they are having illegality of cartelization or formal collusions. The firms are not allowed to have formal collusion. So what type of collusion they are going to make? Informal collusion. What type of collusion it is? Informal. Informal collusion, in which some of the firms they make one market leader, and now the rest of the firms they are following that market leader firm. Okay, if leader firm is increasing the price in the market, the followers firms are reacting by not changing the price. What I said? When leader firm is increasing the, for example, in Pakistan telecom market, Mobilink was the market leader. When new firms were entering in that telecom market, so what they did, if leader firm was going to increase the price, the follower firms were not increasing, because whatever the customers will be lost by that leader firm, they will be coming to the follower firms because they have lower pricing than the leader firm. And when leader firm was decreasing the price, all follower firms will also be decreasing. They will be reacting by decreasing the price. Now they are following the leader firm when prices are decreased. So here I say, what should be the diagram of the price leadership? This is the market demand. Or you can say, this is the industrial demand in case of informal collusion. Okay, listen please. This is what the demand of the leader firm. This is the leader firm demand. I have written DL. This is the demand of the leader firm. Okay. Now this is the marginal revenue of the leader firm. This is the marginal revenue of the first of all, leader firm will decide its level of output to be produced. This is the marginal cost of the leader firm. Okay. Now you can see the leader firm will produce this level of output. What it is? This level of output. And it will set the price along its own demand. This is the price of leader firm, because it is following its own demand, not the market demand. Clear? At this price of the leader firm, the total market demand is this one. Clear? At this price of the leader firm, the market demand is this one. So you can say 1 million is demanded, but this leader firm is only covering 0.3 millions of the customer's demand. So the rest of this quantity demanded will be supplied or enjoyed by all the follower firms if they keep their pricing below this leader firm price level. Follow my point? So when leader firm is having this price, so this demand, market demand will be covered by the follower firms even at the same price. If leader firm increases price, what happens? Its market share will decrease and the market share of the follower firms that will increase. So this increase in price by the leader firm will not be followed by the other firms. Clear? But what happens when leader firm is going to decrease the price, its market share will increase. So what follower firms will be doing? They will also decrease the price. They will also decrease the price in pursuit of getting more market share. So this is we call the price leadership model. follow this stand. Here we say zero sum game. What do you mean by zero sum game? Zero sum game. What is the meaning? Zero sum game. One firm is losing the customers, that is the gain of other firm. So the total market gain is zero. The loss of one firm is a gain of other firm. The market, this came to the data response question for 2 marks. What is meant by zero sum game? So the loss of one firm is some students, they are leaving this school and they are getting admission in another school. So the loss of admissions of this school will be the gain of the admissions of the other school, but the total market gain will be zero sum gain. So this is what we say the price leadership model. We have this thing. Another diagram can also be drawn for the market leadership, but this is the most relevant where the firms are having informal collusion with each other. They haven't written an agreement, but they are having a collusion with the leader firm informally. Clear? Now, what is the other pricing strategy which could be adopted by the firms during imperfect competition? That is limit pricing. Limit pricing. What is this? When the existing firms are having a threat of entering of new firm into the competition. For example, we have 4 schools which are providing A-level education in the city. So if they have a threat that any big brand will also come to the market and that will get more market share, what the existing firms will do? They will decrease their price. Usually it happens in case of monopoly, when monopolist is going to reduce the price to such a level where the new entrants, if it is trying to enter, although there are barriers present, so if that firm is going to cross those barriers, the existing firm will decrease the price to that level where the new firm will be unable to cover its per unit cost of production and it will simply shut down. Its variable cost of production will also be uncovered. So in that case, this limit pricing policy is that in which the new entry or the firms will be blocked by decreasing the price of the existing firms. This is called limit pricing. When prices are reduced to such level where the new firms will be unable to cover their average variable cost of production and they will not be able to enter into that market. Clear? The last pricing strategy, that is the 6th one, predatory pricing. What is that? Predatory pricing. These are usually adopted by most of the time in order to restrict the entry of the new firms or to kick out the existing competitors. For example, there are 3 or 4 competitors in the market. They want to make one of their members to be out of the market. What they do? They will again decrease the pricing to such a level where the existing competitor will not be able to cover the cost. So, I will explain. So, first of all, limit pricing is usually adopted when the entry of new firm is blocked. So, predatory pricing is that now the prices are decreased in such a way that the existing competitor should be out of competition. So, prices are continuously decreased, or such a policy of pricing will be adopted which will make it difficult to cover the average variable cost of the firm and it will leave the market. आप क्या पूछें? ठीक है? So, predatory pricing policy, price setting, price discrimination, price rigidity, price leadership, limit pricing and predatory pricing. These are the different pricing strategies which are adopted by the firms during their imperfect competition because they are mainly having price control. So when they have price control, they can adopt any one of them. Clear? But in case of perfect competition, the firms are not having any control over the pricing policy. They are just the price takers, so they cannot adopt any of these pricing strategies. Clear? That's all for today. We study different types of pricing strategies adopted by imperfectly competitive firms.